very good morning and welcome to Athavan newspaper highlights. Today is Sunday, 16th of October 2016. This is Edward Dedas Devasakayam Pillai with the highlights of today's weekly English newspapers. As usual, we have three newspapers for the highlights: the Sunday Times, the Sunday Observer and the Ceylon Today. Firstly, let's have a look on the Sunday Times. The main headline says, Central Expressway cost increases by 12 billion rupees. The government is in talks with China's Exim Bank to fund the first section of the Central Expressway, which the contractor, Metallurgical Construction Company of China, has now priced at 158 billion rupees or 12 billion rupees more than originally stated. The increase in cost is both due to the inclusion of a 12-kilometer viaduct in the road design and a failure of the government to negotiate sufficient savings from another project carried out by MCC. The relevant section runs 37.1 kilometers from Kadavatha to Mirigama. At the current price, this translates to nearly 4.3 billion rupees per kilometer. The contract was given to MCC without tender. The loan agreement with Exim is yet to be signed. The contractor had initially fixed the cost of a 32.5 kilometer stretch from Cosina to Mirigama at 145.8 billion rupees. 65,000 houses project may be retendered to small packages. French steel giant ArcelorMittal's $1 billion bid to singly erect 65,000 prefab dwellings in Sri Lanka for the war affected in the north and east has suffered a blow. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Management, headed by the Prime Minister, recommended this week for the project to be retendered in smaller packages. The decision, which will be put to the Cabinet on Tuesday, will enable wider participation by the construction industry, particularly domestic companies, which have been critical of the proposed ArcelorMittal deal. The bid bond, which was earlier set at 650 million rupees, will now be much lower. However, the prospective bidders will have to come forward with financing. An independent expert team had also proposed that the tender be floated again. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was also of the same opinion. Senior officials of the Ministry of Resettlement were not available for comment. Secondly, let's move to the Sunday Observer. The main headline says, Sweeping changes at Central Bank. CID investigation to begin tomorrow. Central Bank looks at reforms to correct systems. As the Criminal Investigation Department makes preparation to launch a full-scale investigation into the leak of information last week from within the central bank, bank authorities have initiated comprehensive internal reforms to correct systems and prevent a similar breach of security in the future. Highly placed police sources said the CID would launch investigations into the leak tomorrow after Central Bank Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy last week requested police involvement as the leak amounts to a criminal offence under laws stipulated in the Monetary Act. Speed up of court cases impractical. Lawyers. Many lawyers have raised concerns over the circular issued by the Judicial Service Commission requiring judges to conclude cases that have been pending for over 5 years before the lapse of 1 year by hearing the matter on daily basis, while questioning as to whether the JSC can make such directives to judges in the exercise of their judicial powers. Many practitioners, while admitting the fact that there is a grave need to expedite the hearing of cases, also say that there might be practical issues once this particular mechanism is introduced. Expressing his views on the matter, senior practitioner AAL Dr. Sunil Kure said that if pending cases are heard on a day-to-day basis, it will hamper the progression of newly filed cases. Lasantha Wickrematunge murder suspect's suicide note questioned. Police teams investigating the suicide of the ex-army intelligence officer Ilandarage Jayamenne on Friday are now inquiring why he had stated the name of the suspect now in remand custody for the murder of Lasantha Wickrematunge as Melinda Udalgama, whereas the name of the suspect is Premananda Udalagama alias Ananda Udalagama, the ex-army intelligence officer who hanged himself on Friday morning with a nylon rope, had left a letter saying that he was responsible for the murder of Lasantha Wickrematunge and that his friend Melinda Udalagama should be released. Police teams probing the incident are wondering whether the letter is genuine and if he was indeed a close friend of the suspect in custody as he claims, why he had written his name as Melinda Udalagama. Finally, let's move to the Ceylon today. The main headline says, over Malvana property, FCID to file fresh case against Basil. Architect denies ownership of property though deeds are in his name. Contractor says Basil paid all expenses. The Financial Crimes Investigation Division will conclude more investigations very soon and frame a new charge sheet against former Minister of Economic Development Basil Rajapaksa in connection with the super luxury 240 million rupees house in Pugoda. Udayanga on the run as FCID casts the net. Sri Lanka's former ambassador to Russia, Udayanga Veeratunga, is on the run as the FCID hunts for evidence to prove him guilty of the MIG deal he struck in 2006 while being a diplomat. However, Veeratunga is not going to give up easily. He says, I will be a citizen of Ukraine soon and the Interpol will have to request the Ukraine government to let them look for me there. With that, let's come to an end of today's paper highlights. We will come with more news tomorrow morning. Thanks for listening to other newspaper highlights.